We picked a hell of a season to start a fucking podcast. Welcome back to the show. I'm Rob. I'm here with Mike and Joe. This is the Hogs, Hops, and Hope podcast. Hot takes, cold beers, zero credentials. Guys, have you recovered from the international game in Madrid? Has your body adjusted to the time change and everything? Are we good to go? Or are you rested? Are you back on track now? Are we done with the jet lag and all that?
Yeah, I should have
As far
rested
as
during the game.
Yeah.
as far as all that's concerned, yeah, well, I'm absolutely ready.
Okay.
As far as the loss,
Well,
I'm not recovered from that.
well, you know what I'll recover from? I'll recover from the big weekend double IPA from the Coronado Brewing Company in Coronado, California. This is an 8.8 for those keeping track at home. And this is I always love reading this. This is with the unique blend of some of the world's best hops. This double IPA delivers all the juicy tropical and floral flavors you could dream of. Here's to living in the moment. Let's make it a big weekend. So it's a big weekend because it's a bye weekend, and I don't have to watch professional football.
And you don't have to worry about us losing
There you
this
go.
weekend.
It's
So,
true.
Mike, what you got over there?
So I'm still working through my Sam Adams winter pack. I got the winter white ale.
Okay,
This one is spiced and citrusy.
nice.
It's
We
pretty
like our
good.
citrus beers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, I definitely taste the spices. So yeah,
Okay,
it's good.
Joe, what you got?
I picked up a case of the garage beer.
That looks like the old cans that just said beer on them back in the day.
It probably tastes like it too, but that's not a bad thing. It tastes like beer. It's fine. It's good. I know nothing about this, and I went on the website to see if I could learn anything about it, and all I saw was Jason Kelsey on the website.
Yeah.
Is it
Okay.
his beer?
I think him and Travis maybe bought into it or something.
That's what I thought, but that doesn't matter. Garage beer. It's delicious. Give us a sponsorship.
Yeah.
All I know is I've mentioned a can that just says beer on it. I remember way back when I was working at a bank in a drive-through, and one of my regular customers came through on a Friday night, and he says, "How much is a six-pack of beer?" Now, mind you, this is back in a long time ago. And I said, "Well, it depends on what you want to get. It could be like $5, it could be $10, depending on what you want to get." And he says, "No, no, no, just the stuff that's just the can that just says beer on it." And I said, "I don't know, it's probably like $1.25 for a six pack." And he threw a $5 bill at me and he says, "Get yourself a case and have a good weekend."
Oh man,
um,
those are the
so
good old
anyway,
days.
those are good old days.
Back when it was
Well,
fun to watch football, right?
right? Man, when the team was called the Redskins and winning Super Bowls. So the Commanders went to Madrid to España and battled the Dolphins and lost in overtime, 16-13. That's a six-game losing streak for those keeping track at home for Washington. No bueno. And uh, I I think when I was watching the game, one of the things we talked about last week was obviously Dan Quinn making the defensive calls, right? And so I was interested in what would happen there, and I thought the defense played better, uh, but I think that partly can be chalked up to we were playing Miami as well. So I'm not going to give Dan Quinn a huge old big pat on the back, but I did see better play from the team, even though they were playing a lesser offense than they had been playing. So I guess we try and find a positive. I guess that's one positive. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. They played the defense looked a little better, but was it simply just because it was the Dolphins and the Dolphins are also terrible?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see what happens in 2 weeks when I don't even know who we play.
Denver.
Oh shit.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll get to Denver. Don't worry. Mike, what are your thoughts on the Miami game?
I'm with you guys. Yeah, I guess the defense played a little better, but again, Miami, I'm not means nothing to me. So I
All
don't know.
right. Well, so the game goes to overtime, and the interesting thing to me with overtime was Miami won the toss and elected to kick, and uh, I guess in a way it makes sense. It does make some sense because they know they're unless Washington went on a 10-minute drive and used up the entire clock, Miami was going to get the ball back, and they would know what they would have to do to win the game at that point. So it does make a little bit of sense. But they kicked off to Washington, and first play, overtime, Mariota throws an interception. And and everyone's not real happy about that. Miami went down and kicked a field goal to win it. Of course, Washington had a chance to win it in regulation. Matt Gay missed, I believe, a 57-yard field goal, uh, but he shouldn't have been in a position to win it because Miami went for it on fourth down and could have kicked a field goal to take a lead at the end of the game. But for some reason, I guess they were trying to tank. I don't know any other reason why they wouldn't have tried to take the lead. Um, and Washington stopped them and got the ball back. So it was basically almost like two teams trying to lose without actually trying to lose because I don't think either team really was trying to lose. But so yeah, I hate to bring
That
up
probably
kickers, but
was. Well, yeah. Hang on. Before we jumped into kickers, because we could spend an hour on them. But I do think that was the only shining point, or it was a shining point of our defense, where we had 2 goal line stops or 3 goal line stops. I mean, that was pretty impressive.
might
Again,
have
it was
been
against Miami,
right.
but it
No,
was pretty. It was good to see. That's something,
yeah,
isn't it?
no. Well, that's what we're talking about. The defense was played better, right? I mean, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
uh, but again, Miami, but they do have a good running back, and they've got Achane. I don't know. I've heard his last name pronounced several different ways, so I'm probably butchering that. But and Waddle is one of the best receivers in the league. So but whatever. I guess if we're trying to find a silver lining, then we moved up a spot in the potential draft. I know we're not going to talk we're not going to talk draft strategy, and now, but we also hold the tiebreaker for a better draft pick over Miami since they beat us. So we got that going for us.
Okay. Yeah.
If you try and find that. So. Um, but yeah, I mean, the game, there's really not a whole lot to talk about. It wasn't impressive on either side of the ball, not surprisingly. No Jaden, no Terry, no Noah. Ben Sinnott was out. Deron Payne was suspended for a game, so he didn't play. It just it's it's becoming more and more embarrassing, quite honestly. I don't know. Whatever. It's
Yeah. No,
football.
it's really all you
Drink.
Drink,
It's the
right?
only way we're going to get through the rest of this season.
Okay. So we got a couple things that we just to talk about, not so much about the game. So Washington's going into their bye week now. So the team has the week off. So we have the week off as well, even though we're doing a show. That's why we're all still wearing black, though, no jerseys, because we're not protesting or anything. That's just the way it is. But Deron Payne is back on the active roster after serving his suspension. So their first game back after the bye week will be against Denver. So he'll be ready for that. It's not a podcast if we don't talk about kickers.
So,
Go ahead.
I mean, look, let's start this off. Some of this is our fault. At the very beginning of this podcast, we made fun of the kicker thing and we talked too much about kickers and kickers don't matter. And so it's been a running joke with us. And well, here we
Hang
are.
on.
Kickers matter.
I have always been on the side of the kickers. I've always said the kickers were valuable players. This is you two hating on the kickers.
I don't hate kickers.
Mm-mm. Mm. It's not hating on the kickers. I don't
It's
hate
not.
them. We just we've made it a thing that we don't have to talk about them. Now we got to
But
talk.
Yeah.
but now it's part of the news. We're not talking about it just to talk about kickers, nor are we avoiding it just because it's kickers. It's actually news. And that is Matt Gay was cut by the team.
Rightfully so.
So he was cut and he was almost immediately signed to San Francisco's practice squad.
Oh, really?
Yes. Now, Washington signed a kicker to replace Matt Gay. They signed Jake Moody.
Yep.
And you might say to yourself, who the hell is Jake Moody? Well, Jake Moody at the start of the season was a kicker for the San Francisco 49ers. He was then cut by San Francisco after playing with them for a couple of years and signed on with Chicago for one game. That game was against Washington, and Jake Moody kicked a game-winning field goal for Chicago against Washington that started Washington's 6-game losing streak, which is only fair since it was the Hail Mary game against Chicago that started Chicago's losing streak last season. And here we go.
So wait, what you're saying is he's going to be the turnaround for us. He has these pivotal moments. We're going to win every game from here on out now because of Jake Moody.
Yeah, if that's what you heard. um, so whatever, we're gonna have a new kicker, but you know, so like, okay, great. They sign a kicker. Great. We got a kicker. Is he any good? Can he kick from long range? Let's see. Uh, Jake Moody. Between college and the NFL, he is 10 of 22 from 50 plus yards.
Sweet.
So
Great.
yeah, we got that.
So we'll be
going
cutting
for us.
him in 3 weeks.
And this is now the 8th kicker. So Dan Quinn and Adam Peters are a season and a half into their reign in Washington. We are now on the 8th kicker.
Yeah. I read that the other day. I was like, that can't be right.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Brandon McManus, Ramiz Ahmed, Riley Patterson, Cade York, Austin Siebert, Zane Gonzalez, Matt Gay, and now Jake Moody. So, yes.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Let's see. In other news, so in real news, and we missed this last week because the news came out right after we had finished recording last week's show. Jaden Daniels' injury, his dislocated elbow, there was no tears, there was no surgery needed, so that's good. He has still not been put on injured reserve, and they're waiting to give a full analysis after the bye week. So we don't know if he's going to return at all this season. That's still up in the air. As they've said with every other injury this season, he's trending in the right direction.
Are we taking a book out of hockey and it's an upper body injury and a lower body injury and things like that and no details whatsoever?
Well, we know it's a dislocated elbow, so we don't have to say it's an upper body injury.
Well, I meant that as an example, but yeah, I didn't mean that exactly.
Right. I just think coaches always come out, well, we're going to be transparent with everything until they're not. This kind of goes back to some of the injuries we talked about in the preseason and training camp. I don't know that there's any news to give. He's not practicing yet, and now we're on the bye week, so the team isn't practicing this week, so there's nothing to report this week because he can't practice. And we're just going to have to wait and see what happens when the team comes back leading up next week up to the Broncos game, and see if Jaden's ready. And if he's not, then we'll get Marcus again, and we'll see we'll see where Jaden is. But so the talk that I've been hearing from those with credentials is they're upset because people like us, those without credentials, say, well, at least I said, and I don't remember exactly what you guys might have said last week, but I said Jaden should be on injured reserve already, and I don't think he should play the rest of the season. But those with credentials say he should play once he's healthy because he needs the reps, and we got to see what he's like with this offense so we can look ahead to next year. So I ask you all, if he's healthy, there's 6 games left in the season. No one thinks Washington's going to make the playoffs, so we're not angling for that. But do you think, again, if he's healthy, should he be playing out this season with 6 games left?
No. It's a simple answer. No. What's the point?
Well, so he can get reps and develop a rapport with his teammates. That's what's being reported. I'm not saying that's what's being reported.
I don't actually disagree with that conceptually, but how many of those teammates are on a 1-year deal and may not be here next year? So
Thank you.
I'm not, and does he need reps in a game? I don't think he needs reps in a game. I mean, yeah, get him back in practice, get it when he's ready. But no, look, if we had if we had an offense that was locked in for, 80% of them were locked in for a couple of years, maybe that might make sense. But no, why? Let him
Right,
rest.
because I mean, I didn't pull it up, but we don't know if Debo's going to be around next year.
Mhm.
Noah Brown's probably not going to be around next year, quite honestly. We don't know if Zach Ertz is going to be around next year. Hell, we don't even know, and I might be getting a little ahead on this one. We don't know if Tunsil's going to be around next season because he has one more year. If he wants an extension, he could hold out. He could end up being traded because of that. Who know? I don't know. I mean, he could resign and be with the team for another 5 or 6 years. Yes, but that's an unknown at this point. So, when you start, Terry obviously will be back. Sure. I imagine Bill would be back. I don't know where Chris Rodriguez's contract is. Eckler, he's probably not going to be back with the team next year. I mean, he'll be healed, but is he? I don't see them bringing him back. We're getting ahead of ourselves. But Mike, like what you said, who's he trying to jibe with here? I mean, this team's going to have another 20-player turnover. Who's he trying to develop a rapport with?
And take Terry. Okay, yeah, Terry's going to be back next year. Is he going to be back this year? When's he going to be back? Like, who's he? That's the other part of it is all these guys are injured. Who are you building rapport with if half your, Eckler's not coming back this year?
Right.
So, I no, he just shouldn't let him. Don't risk him getting hurt again in a year that we're not going to the playoffs.
Okay. Let's see. So, John Keim wrote an article this week, and John Keim writes. He covers the team for ESPN. He's been covering the team for 25 years or so. And the title of the article is 5 Plays That Derailed the Commanders This Season. And so I want to get your thoughts on this. To me, it's a little bit. I don't know if I agree with all of these, but some of them are a little too much, or maybe recency bias. The first play he mentioned was Jaden's injury, his most recent injury with the elbow. I don't know that necessarily derailed the season, since the season was already wasted by the time we got to that point. The second play he mentioned was playing the Raiders when Terry caught a 56-yard pass, and this is the one where he fell on his leg and re-injured his leg, and is now out again, right? So that's the second one. The third one is was against Chicago when they fumbled the ball at the end of the game. The fourth play was in Dallas. Uh, was at the with 49 seconds left in the first half. Washington scores. They cut the deficit to 20-15. They were going to receive the ball to start the second half, and the play says on 2nd and 17 after a sack of Dak Prescott with 30 seconds remaining, Dallas hits a 44-yard gain and they get momentum and they score. And then he talked about Ertz slipping in the end zone against Miami. So I some of these plays against, the game's Jaden's injury, again, the season was lost before that. Ertz slipping against Miami, the season was over before that. I did think it was kind of interesting, just an interesting article. But the other plays, I guess you could, if Jaden hadn't fumbled against Chicago and we beat Chicago, it's funny. I was listening to Bram Weinstein talk to John Keim on John Keim's podcast. Bram Weinstein's the voice of the Commanders. And so I want to get your all's thoughts on this, because Bram was talking about, he's like, look, if they hadn't fumbled against Chicago and beat Chicago, if Ertz doesn't slip, or if Matt Gay hits a 57-yarder, well, suddenly the team is they're not 3-8, 3-7, 3-8. They would be 5-6, and we'd all have a different kind of vibe. And he's like, he said, oh, they could have easily beat Miami. Well, no, they couldn't, because if they could have easily beat Miami, they would have beat Miami. And he's mentioning these plays, but we said the same thing about last season. Last season they were 12-5. They could have very easily been 7-10. So I asked the two of you, and Joe, we'll go to you first. Does that make you feel better that we're, while the team is 3-8, we're only a couple plays away from maybe being, having 6 wins instead of 3 wins or 5 wins, or, and we still might be in the playoff chase? Does that make you feel any better about this season so far?
No, not at all. It doesn't matter. We had a few plays last year that, went in our favor. We kept talking about that, the luck we had last year, that they were a few plays in our favor, but we're not a few plays short. We're many, many, many plays short on every game right now. The plays that he picked out, sure, there was some consequences in that game, but no, we were nowhere near it. We're not close. And those few plays don't matter.
Right.
I think Jaden's first injury is probably more important than his last injury, because that was the one that kind of derailed things. Maybe if that one didn't happen, but again, it's like, we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what would have happened. So that's silly to me.
Yeah. Mike?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think if you're one play is the difference in a game, it comes down to luck to a certain extent. Yeah, it went our way last year more often than it didn't. This year, it's not going our way. If we're going to be a dominant team, it shouldn't come down to one play to win or lose a game.
But, yeah,
I
agree. That's a good way to put it. I don't think I found Keim's article interesting in that I like seeing people's how they view things, and because sometimes we miss things. We all see things differently. So I want getting someone else's opinion on that of where the season might have gone wrong was interesting to me. But listening to Bram say that, we're just a couple of plays away from this. Yeah, I don't. If you're not talking about that last year, then don't talk about it this year. I don't think this team. We all said double-digit wins. We know that's not happening now. It can't happen now. They would have had to win and beat Miami and win out. But I don't think none of us expected the amount of injuries or or anything like that. We were concerned about the schedule they were playing.
Yeah.
But they got Denver in a week and a half when they come back out of the bye, and that's going to be interesting because Denver has one of the best defenses in the league, and this offense, even if Jaden's back at that point, he's got to be rusty. We saw when he came back last time he was rusty. I don't know. I don't know. I was looking for something to talk about. 'Cause, I mean,
You know, it almost sounds like that's what that article was. That's purely what the article was. It's off-season writing, you know,
Yeah.
because there's nothing good to talk about, and you can't. We're doing it. We're just beating a dead horse. We suck. We're on a 6-game losing streak. There's
Yeah.
nothing. We can try to find some silver lining of like, oh, that was a decent play, or oh, that was a decent drive, or a decent stop, or well, it wasn't a decent drive. We haven't had a decent drive. Anyway. Uh, so it's just off-season writing.
I like that term, off-season writing. I like that. That's good. All right, so the team sucks. So let's talk a little bit about the heyday then. So Joe Jacoby is a semifinalist once again in the seniors category for the Hall of Fame. And so here's hoping that he finally makes it into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I think he deserves it. He's a real good guy. I've had the pleasure of meeting him a few times, and yeah, I would love to see him in the Hall of Fame next to Russ Grimm. I think he deserves it. Those two guys were such a valuable part of this team for so long, and the fact that I think Jacoby was an undrafted free agent. I think out of Louisville is where he went to college, and so God bless Bobby Beathard for finding him.
Wow.
But I think that's all about I had. Let me just see if there was anything else that I had bookmarked to talk about. Oh yeah, if you need a good gluten-free dessert for Thanksgiving, that's coming up. You go with the 3-ingredient banana ice cream. You just take some frozen bananas, a splash of milk, and some peanut butter or cocoa. Throw it in a blender, blend it till it's soft serve, and it's good. I know. Side note, I'm just looking at stuff I had bookmarked, and I bookmarked sports stuff, and then I bookmarked random stuff.
Oh, okay. Are we going to turn this into a cooking show? Because I made some spiced peanut or spiced pecans that were pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you have to share the recipe then. That's
Yeah.
I
Hey,
mean, we got nothing else to do.
I recently picked up a Blackstone secondhand, and I'm starting to get into some cooking.
Okay. Well, I did buy a new cast iron skillet recently, so I've been using that a little bit more.
Oh,
Because we're not supposed to be using the nonstick stuff that everyone's been using for the last 40 years.
right.
So I've been trying to use I had a little 10-inch one, but I upgraded to a 13-inch one, so a little more room. Well, I mean, we got another week next week that we're gonna have to come up and talk about. I guess we can talk about the Caps. The Caps won tonight. They beat Edmonton 7-4.
Mhm.
So that's really about it. I mean, this team is Joe. I think you said it the best. They suck. And we're gonna have plenty of time to talk about the offseason and the draft. And unfortunately, I don't think we'll end up waiting till the end of the season before we start talking about that. We'll talk about players that probably won't be around, even though we already touched on that. But I just, I woke. It was so funny on Sunday. We talked about this before. So I set my alarm for 6 o'clock Sunday morning so I could get up and watch the game. And the alarm went off, and I said, "Nope, don't care." And I set it for 7, and I was like, I'll just sleep in for a little bit. And alarm went off at 7. I said, nope, don't care. And then I woke up somewhere between 7:30 and 8, and I got out of bed, and then I started watching the game at that point. And I started watching from the beginning, and then I could just fast forward through commercials and stuff. I'm glad I didn't get out of bed at 6 o'clock in the morning to
Yeah.
watch the game.
I was going to text you. I think it would have been about 8 o'clock your time. Mike and I were watching the game, and he was like, "I don't text Rob that early." And I said, you know what?
Uh,
I won't bother."
that's
You
why
might
he's
have
a
been, it
good
sounds
friend.
like you might have been awake then, but yeah.
Well, I just, I feel for all the people that went to Madrid. I mean, I'm sure they had fun. It would, I
Yeah.
think Madrid would be a cool place to visit. But if you're spending all that money to go for a particular reason that doesn't really happen, and then to see your team lose, yeah, I guess you could stay positive and say it was a great experience and all that, but uh, I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could spend those thousands of dollars to fly overseas to watch a team and a crappy team that doesn't have its stars, and then watch them drop a turd. Um, I wouldn't be real
I
happy
wonder if
about
you could
that.
have sold the tickets, scalped the tickets, and gotten most of the money for your trip back. Because I'm sure there's still a lot of people in Spain that don't get to see football and would have apprecited that. I don't know how much
Well,
they'd
yeah, I
pay
mean
for it, but
the game sold out. I mean, I don't think you recoup all your costs when you talk about the flight and hotel. I mean, I'm sure you can get the cost of the tickets back if you were able to resell them.
yeah.
But that's a lot. I don't think demand's that high that you could get back your your
Not that.
ticket costs or your airline ticket, your flight ticket,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, that's true.
and hotels. But if you chalked it up to just saying, well, this is my vacation and I've always wanted to go to Spain, then maybe then it's worth it regardless. But I guess
Yeah.
this is I'm glad we didn't have credentials to have to go and cover the team. You know,
Yeah, but if we did, someone else would have been paying us to do it, paying our expenses. So then it'd
true.
be fine.
True. I did hear a couple of the beat reporters for the team to talk about that. Like, well, it was a work trip and we didn't really have time to do this, but let me tell you about all the food I experienced and the
Yeah.
places I saw and all this, and it was on somebody else's dime. So I'm happy for you. Uh, all right. Well, I think I don't know. You guys got anything else you want to talk about? Anything team wise or cooking tip wise?
Well, I'll save my cooking tips for next week.
Okay.
There you go.
Um,
I mean,
all
we
right.
probably in the next week or two have to talk about when we're ready to change the name from Hogs, Hops, and Hope to Hogs, Hops, and More Hops. But we can. I feel like
Well,
the hope is gone, but
yeah, we're gonna have to. I guess am I gonna have to go to two beers? Is that the for the
Not
show?
you. Your beers are too strong.
Come on, I like being able to say, "No, I'm sorry, I just had two beers." Don't drink and drive.
that's right.
None of us are driving anywhere after the show,
Correct.
so we
That's
don't
right.
encourage that. Um, well, the good news is yes, we know we're not going to lose this week, so Washington cannot get any worse uh, unless someone hurts themselves during the off week,
Wouldn't put it past them this time.
Yeah.
which could definitely happen. Definitely
Sure.
can happen.
Yeah.
We've seen other players uh, lose fingers during fireworks stuff. People have hurt themselves on their grills. People have just fallen down and done stupid things. And I don't put anything past anything for this team or anyone on this team this year.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we can wrap up this, and at least I don't have to say you'll see us next week when we talk about who we lost to. Um, so we can
Yeah.
end this on a positive note, and that is that we're still doing this, and we're having fun doing it, and hopefully people are enjoying watching and listening to it. We've hit 100 downloads on the podcast
All right.
overall. So yay, us. I know for some podcasts that would be like in the first 30 seconds, but hey,
Hey, you
We're
got to
us.
start somewhere, right?
We got to start somewhere.
There you go.
All right, last chance. Anything to throw out?
Nope.
Nope.
So it's bad when I don't even finish my beer when we're finishing the show. But we will have a show next week. Not sure what we'll talk about. Maybe we'll talk about the Caps. Maybe we'll talk about cooking tips. Maybe we'll do a preview of how bad we think we're going to get killed by the Broncos. Who knows? But until then, thanks always for watching. Thanks for hitting the subscribe button and leave a comment if you choose and all that fun stuff. Yeah, if you want a certain recipe you want us to try or whatever, leave a comment and maybe we can cook it up and give you a fair review on that. But thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
This would be much more fun if we didn't have to talk about football.